ban here from Fnatic. It just absolutely has to be. It's so common you see the Nocturne, Taliyah, and the Aatrox be the red side bans that you're almost forced into on this patch.
They're really targeting Bwipo, it seems here.
Yeah, taking away all of the kind of more comfortable champions for Bwipo. Feel like we heard yesterday that Fnatic has a ton of special picks in the bag here. I want to see which ones are going to come out. But if you're Misfits Gaming right now, bans have come through on Fnatic, pretty stock standard. What are you looking at for first picks, Niski?
I think maybe Zoe. I mean, that's what I would do at least. I mean, I'm not sure if like Misfits really love Zoe because I know that they like Irelia and like Yasuo a lot. So they might just maybe first pick Sejuani or something, so that they can kind of get the lead.
Yeah,
the 2v2.
Especially after seeing Caps play that matchup, the Zoe into the Irelia yesterday. Oh man,
okay.
Yo, that's a bold statement.
You talk about the difference in mid lane, Sencux, just put it all on the table right there. He said, let's go. Blind picking the Yasuo here. Fnatic, I think no surprises, taking some more of the comfortable picks here. Gragas, we've heard potentially a flex. Kindred, I can't imagine would be, but Yasuo first for Sencux. With Zoe open, with so many different picks open, I mean, he did play well.
It's pretty alpha, I would say.
I mean, yeah, I think he's just confident in himself, and maybe he just thinks that he will just beat Caps in any matchup. So, I mean, I will never do that. But maybe he's just confident. Okay, Fnatic will probably go like Sejuani, Irelia, I think, from now. I mean, that's the only thing I can see.
Yeah, there's a lot of synergy in that matchup too, being able to stack up the Sejuani passive with those melee auto attacks in the mid lane, and also just trying to shut down a champion like a Yasuo. A lot of heavy CC is definitely a way to do that.
Another question for me, Misfits want to round out their first pick rotation here. You've already got the Yasuo. It just looks like comfort picks, honestly, from Misfits. The Mundo's been really good for Alphari. The Yasuo's been good for Sencux. Do they pick up a jungler here before we enter the second ban phase, or is it even a priority at this point?
I would say they pick up a jungler here, unless they just want to blind something safe for someone bot. Like Lucian, I think is good blind, but yeah, they go for the jungler.
Locked in the top side of the map, Trundle Pillar synergy with the Yasuo as well. Fnatic, some options here. Yesterday we saw kind of the gangplank be a draft changer, right? Like come through at the end, be swapped around a decent amount. Alistair, if it gets locked in here, are we just expecting all of the insanity from Fnatic's draft to be in the last two picks?
I mean, I think they have something weird, 100%, because I would just pick Irelia there if I was Caps, so I don't know what he will play this game, but we'll see, I guess. Because they're just gonna ban Irelia and probably Zoe. And then I have no idea what Caps will play.
Fnatic definitely have to be expecting mid lane bans thrown their way in this next rotation. So those champions you listed off, certainly not ones that Caps was probably planning to match up in this matchup.
When you guys go up against Fnatic, when you think about playing against a team like Fnatic, does your draft preparation, or would it change if you were to face them because they just play so much weird stuff? How do you actually approach it? Do you just focus on getting what you're comfortable on, or do you actually even try to shut down all of the weird stuff they're going to play?
I mean, I like the Misfits approach that you try to shut down Bwipo, because you can say that he doesn't play AD carries, right? And then there's these mages, there's not that many of them, and you can try to target him there. But in terms of bot lane, the draft changes a lot because you know that they don't play AD carry. So it's a lot different game than any other.
Yeah, and Misfits, of course, both sides actually really setting up around their bot lane. We are going to see a bot pick and a mid pick coming through from the Fnatic lineup shortly, as well as the full bot lane here for the Misfits, short of any kind of Trundle flex. And honestly, I think we're all just kind of waiting with bated breath to figure out what the heck Fnatic is doing, because we heard it in every interview yesterday. Where are the weird picks? We want to see them.
Right, and if we're still looking at mages for Bwipo on the bottom lane, I think the Ziggs would maybe step up for, in my mind. You can clear away waves, give time for Hylissang to roam around on the Pyke. There's also the option for him if he wants to go for a melee carry down bottom lane. Not something we've seen too much here in Europe, but has definitely been in a lot of play in other regions.
Yeah, or the Morgana maybe. You know,
That
I mean,
too.
you know,
That too.
I mean, they can even play like, I'm pretty sure they can just play Gragas bot, or even like Sejuani support maybe with like Pyke. Or I'm thinking that with Fnatic that they can play every champion everywhere, so it's like kind of hard. So you just pick comfort champions and then you just adapt.
The adaptation for Misfits, they will get the chance, won't get to respond too much to the last pick.
I want to see what Caps picks here. Or oh,
is it gonna happen? Oh, let's go!
Oh, League of Legends, baby! This is why when I was memeing with pros yesterday about this Wukong, people kept giving me weird looks. This is real, isn't it? This is why you were giving me weird looks before this started.
We didn't want to spoil it.
Oh my god.
Kinda knew.
We kinda knew it, you know. It's
okay.
Yeah,
we kind of know it's Wukong. I don't want to confirm. Misfits obviously can't change that point, but they're taking Braum. We'll see what else they round in. Is this a... Do you know anything about this? And I don't mean like, where are you hiding this from? So, I mean, do you like, is this a matchup you're familiar with? Wukong and Yasuo?
Not really, no. It's just that, I think it's just that he likes having melees maybe with Sejuani, so he can play like kind of anything. But it has to be a melee, of course, so maybe he just loves Wukong, you know? And I think that, as I said before, like, if Sencux plays against a champion that he never played before against, you know, he will be like less confident. Like right now he's already thinking, oh, what's going on, you know? So I think that's quite smart from Fnatic. Oh, okay.
Ryze now locked in. Could we see a Wukong bottom, or is that pretty much guaranteed to be the Ryze?
Nah, I think it's Wukong.
Yeah, playing Wukong into Braum Lucian sounds like a death sentence to me. Just getting CC'd into the ground. But mid lane matchup, I feel like there's actually some possibilities there for him to win this one out. The wind wall can't really do anything against Wukong, man.
I want to see it, but I also want to talk a little bit about the bot lane matchup here once we see where everything's finally going to go. You're Lucian, Braum, you're up. Is this a matchup that's going to be pretty good for the more standard AD carry, or are you still scared of something like a Pyke Ryze just blowing you up at some point in the laning phase?
I mean, I would say Lucian Braum should win the early game. Many players, they like to pick Ryze into Lucian, mostly because you outscale him pretty hard. But I would say with how Misfits play, and just in general, I think they should be good to go in the bot lane and get a lead early on.
All right, guys. I heard a lot of faith for Fnatic earlier. Now that you've seen the draft, still faith in Fnatic, still holding true. You guys believe in the Wukong mid here. We'll start with you, Kabi.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm seeing Caps would pop off and he will just 1v9 the game. That's yesterday.
I still got my vote for Misfits. If Caps pops off, then sure. I had never seen this matchup before, but top to bottom, I like the composition for Misfits better.
Mystery, all right. I want to talk real quick. Win condition. How do Fnatic win this game, Niski?
I think first you have to shut down the Yasuo through Sejuani Wukong and just fight mid 24/7 kinda. And then I think they just have to dive bot probably and get the Ryze ahead, and that's it.
All right, we're going to see if it happens. The teams are ready to kick off the action, so here are our casters for the match of the week.
Thank you very much, Dracos. Welcome to the caster desk. I'm still QuickShot, and I'm joined by Deficio and Foxdrop. Gentlemen, welcome to the desk.
Thank you very much. We have a Wukong mid lane.
And that Wukong mid lane, ladies and gentlemen, is the first professional Wukong in the 2018 season worldwide. It is the second professional Wukong in 2 years. Only once was it played on the planet in professional gaming last year. And that is a fantastic quick stat to start it out. Stats team, did it win? Foxdrop, will it win today?
Oh, that's a really tough question. I feel like if you pick something like Wukong, you have a huge amount of confidence, and so maybe.
Let's see the level 1 here. Alphari is hiding in the brush.
Dun 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 dun!
Oh, don't go that
way! Gets run into Fnatic. The shenanigans are up. He holds on to first blood, and Broxah picks it up.
That's such a good level 1 because the guys on top side are hiding out of vision. He doesn't know. He's like, oh, I'm just going to walk back towards my turret. I'm going to be fine. But bam, there's 3 people, ton of CC. No summoners even used by Fnatic picking up first blood.
They were in between Alphari and his escape path as well. Really, really cheeky. What is it about Fnatic's and cheeky level 1 strategies? I feel like I've seen something like this before.
They definitely spend a lot of time preparing them, that's for sure. Now, the Wukong mid lane, of course, that's the big story of the game here. They gave away a surprising first pick Yasuo. I didn't think it was just going to be locked in instantly for Sencux, but the Wukong, I think it's going to be lethality. It's like from solo queue, what a lot of people do, but it's of course the like Black Cleaver as a build you can go towards as well. But this should be, I'm going to one-shot you Wukong.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it was anything but. And talk about confidence, the Wukong pick, like I mentioned. First pick, blind picking at Yasuo, Sencux into Cats. I mean, that's a statement if ever I saw one.
It really is, and it's not only just Sencux, but it's Sencux Yasuo, which is undefeated this spring, along with Alphari's Mundo, undefeated this spring, 5-0, 4-0. Look at those stats, guys. I mean, it is the 9-0 Misfits, so of course they're going to have some phenomenal performances, and that maybe is why Fnatic and Caps are pulling out the shenanigans. Hylissang's going to get jumped on and dunked down. A lot of damage coming out, dropped to 100 HP and forced away from lane.
So for the traditional AD carry bot lane from Misfits, getting the upper hand, Bwipo, Hylissang, of course, losing the race for level 2, which was the big advantage. Mikyx will do the classic thing. You put a deep ward in towards the unit, or at least you check it. You apparently do not want to put your ward down.
He just, in case you did want to put your ward down, he's scouting the area to see whether or not it was prime real estate for the ward. Decides against it. But even if Ryze gets a little bit chunked out in this early lane phase, he's not going to mind too much because his eyes are going to be on that early tier. So you just get a little bit of gold, and then you can nip back to shop, get your tier, come back in, no problemo.
And of course, you guys at home, spam in chat who you think is going to win. MSF for Misfits or FNC for Fnatic. We'll take a look at your results in a moment or two. And Fnatic, they got that early first blood, got it onto Broxah. He's picking up the risk scuttler for now. And I guess we keep looking towards Caps in this middle lane, just waiting to see what he's going to do. I like watching his movement because he keeps stopping, like faking out as if he's done a decoy or not, and just playing mind games with Sencux.
Also, we have to remember the wind wall is effectively useless in this matchup here for Sencux. There was a little clone coming in from Cap, so I'm waiting for Broxah to get close to the mid lane and commit to the play with Caps. You can wait for level 6, and it's going to be really hard to escape. Like, the cleanse is not really going to help you then if you're Sencux.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. I feel like this is most likely going to be not too much pre-6, but then as soon as that level 6 hits, Sejuani ultimate, we know what that can do. But even from Wukong, with the Ignite as well, that's going to be a huge extra amount of damage coming through from Caps. And if he's looking to beat Sencux in this 1v1, it will most likely come after maybe the serrated Dirk and his level 6.
Right, and if Maxlore tries to go in there, you will have the chance to escape as a Wukong every single time, as long as the W is available. Maxlore is topside instead. The Gragas getting pushed in a bit by Mundo. Mundo, of course, always doing well against the tanks in the top lane.
Not too bad, and if, like we've seen 1,000 times in the LCS so far, if you want to try and shut him down a bit later on, you have to do it before this stopwatch comes online, because Mundo presses R, presses stopwatch, and he's unkillable.
I got a question for you. Who kills Mundo on this team? Because
is the plan to kill Mundo, or is the plan to kill the back line?
I mean, eventually, right?
I mean, yeah, eventually you're going to kill him when the enemy team has no carries left. I think the entire goal is, if Sencux jumps in, you have a ton of CC on Fnatic side, you can try and burst him, or you can just always send Wukong against Hansama. And he should be able to one-shot him, if he gets fed. And
of course, talking about that, Caps yesterday on that Irelia broke so many records. Maybe just to get a skew on Mikyx, just interrupt him. But yeah, that Caps performance yesterday, he picked himself 4 solo kills. He went, what was it, 15, I think 0 and 3 along those lines. And definitely just playing out of his mind. If he can channel that level of impact, that level of ability and performance, that's obviously how this Wukong can pick up. By the way, both of these guys getting close to level 6, and I'm still just waiting for the all-in. I'm just waiting for somebody to get burst down. I know we're looking for those junglers to get involved, though.
I think it's going to be a case of the junglers, because both of these junglers have great setups for their mid laners. Maxlore with that pillar that can activate the Yasuo ulti, and as I mentioned before, Broxah with his Glacial Prison 2, just to lock Sencux down. Even if it blows the cleanse, so much damage from Caps might mean that it's enough still.
Yeah, I'm quite happy we have a bit of build-up. It's not just like a level 2 all-in from Caps and he dies or something and the Wukong just sucks. Like, it is get level 6, you know, go back, get your first item, preferably some lethality, or maybe a Tiamat, and then just go for a mid lane fight.
And you can already see Hylissang roaming. I mean, this is the opposite of what happened last time. Like, Misfits really beat Fnatic pretty hard last time they played. It was the funnel comp as well. And it looked like Fnatic weren't necessarily
it was the Janna,
really comfortable with that one.
Janna bot lane versus Draven from Hansama, and Draven got like 3 early kills.
Yeah.
I mean, it was never really
Fnatic lost so badly that Reckless benched himself.
Yeah,
that weekend, right? And I know I'm saying that for dramatic effect, right? But it was one of the elements that led it. You can see that gold graph again, 15K. And we keep this anticipation building. Gentlemen, I know we said a lot about mid lane and we're expecting that, but which team will be successful in their first play? Foxdrop, I'll throw to you first.
I actually have faith in the Wukong. He's gonna make some ridiculous play, absolute bananas, and pop off.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like now all the hype is around the Wukong, so that's kind of the one everyone is hoping for. I think like right now, if it is a pure all-in, Caps will have more damage than Sencux, so I think it's a pretty good bet to go with him. Broxah, obviously.
I'm sensing hesitation here, mate.
I mean, I just feel like because we have not seen a Wukong mid lane like ever in professional play, there's always this risk.
Hold on. I don't want to say ever. That's not fair.
Fine,
because last year in 2017 for GCU in the North American Challenger Series, that Wukong lost, okay? And the last time it was played in EU LCS was in 2015 Frederick played it in a UOL versus Giants gaming. And
That's
it was a
an
win.
old name.
It is indeed very old name. But that means professional play that at least on the records I have, it's 1-1. And this is the decider. Now it's
But was
Caps.
that mid lane or was that jungle Wukong?
It was jungle.
It was
Wukong
El
for Frederick.
Bandido.
I don't know what NACS was, unfortunately. It's nice when you see the first professional champion in any league, and it's in the hands of Caps, one of the best players on the planet. So I think it's fair to have high expectations, Deficio.
I mean, we should. Caps kind of teased this yesterday in the interview. He said we have something special prepared against Misfits. It already made me scared when I had my prediction, because I was like, ooh, what's this? You know, Caps plays everything. He's going to have some kind of cheese pig ready.
An early dragon going down, slight advantage to Fnatic, but I don't think either of these teams really care about the first dragon of the game. It's something, don't get me wrong, but with both these teams, with what's on the line, with honestly, arguably the two best teams in form of the EU LCS right now, there's so much more at stake than just that first dragon.
I agree with the informed Fnatic if they win early game. If they lose early game,
Sure.
it's pretty rough, because again, they just keep trying to force plays, and when you are behind with full Broxah comms, you don't often have great wave clear. You know, it's very quickly that it gets tough. He did bring a Tiamat. He's going to E-Tiamat that backline, and then he's going to W away. That's your wave clear right there.
We've already seen a Tiamat double kill in the LCS in summer so far. I mean, hey, at this time we're more likely to see it. Maybe even a triple kill. If anyone can do it, it'll be Caps.
Look, the thing is, this dragon is the only thing that separates the teams. We're approaching 10 minutes. We're basically bang on even. The goal, the first blood, just marginally ahead for Fnatic, but they're the ones in trouble. Flash from Bwipo. Hylissang's going to jump forward as well, thanks to that Phantom Undertow. Hunsummer takes down Bwipo. Mikyx and Maxlore flashing forward. The culling is being channeled. Hylissang's running for his life. Double kill, Hunsummer!
All the hype around the Wukong mid lane, and then the first blood is down in the bottom lane. Sorry, the second blood is down in the bottom lane for Misfits. Once again, they're playing around Hansama on the traditional AD carry. Great setup with Pillar plus Braum around the mid lane, though Caps not able to get in range. I think Sencux, he got the message. My team is bot lane. They're probably coming for me mid.
Quite possibly, and we're going to see it again here, and your MVP candidate for the mid-split, Mr.
Oh, look at that
Maxlore.
Pillar.
There he is, send it up with that Pillar. And just not too much you can do. This is a low mobility bot lane as far as Ryze with his capacity to escape aggressive plays. And when you have Braum doing Braum things, you're screwed.
What I like, the two plays that we have seen, the cheeky level 1 from Fnatic and now a great gank from Misfits. They're just well executed, clean, play. You know, they played the map and their opponents well. And that's what I'm trying to allude to. But we're still even. It is still such a close game. And these next few skirmishes and engages, once we start playing around the map and opening it up, that's what's going to determine who takes charge.
It also really sucks for Fnatic's bot lane, because they had actually warded everything in the river. They felt like they had pretty much control of the bottom side. Maxlore just snuck in the lane brush. Like, easy setup for him. Because they have so much CC with the Braum, it was enough, as you highlighted there, Foxdrop. Like, the Ryze can't really get away the moment he's already flashed.
And for me, the worst thing about that play for Fnatic was as that play was going down, Broxah was just clearing the chickens on his side of the jungle. It's not like they were able to match it on the other side of the map or really get anything back with the fact that Maxlore had shown bot side.
And what we normally see now when Misfits is winning bot lane is they push in the lane, Maxlore joins them on the bottom side, they start invading the bot side jungle, and also start putting pressure around mid, because you never know if are they going to show up behind me if I'm fighting. You know, you suddenly lose the ability to play aggressive on one side just because Hansama and Mikyx is winning their lane. Meanwhile, top is just a tank matchup. It's hard at this point to go tower dive the Mundo. You already highlighted the stopwatch. It's there.
He's got Visage now as well. That ain't happening.
Yeah, and look at the rest of the items. Blade of the Ruin King completed for Hansama. A couple of stopwatches also picked up. Mikyx, Hylissang, Alphari we've already talked about. So we're still continuing to scale up in the itemization, something that I didn't necessarily call out. 3 teleports on the side of Misfits, Alphari, Hansama, and Mikyx, all of them available. So keeping my eyes on as and when Misfits decide to use those. And Fnatic, they're just challenging that vision. Initially, Fnatic had control. The observers highlighted it. Misfits challenged, and now it's kind of that rebuttal. But there's still a couple of Misfits wards in Fnatic's jungle.
And we have to remember, if Maxlore ends up returning to the bot lane, there is no flash on Bwipo. Like, he's effectively a free kill for him. He's not going to be able to just walk down the river due to the wards, but another lane gank is quite possible. Sencux is playing passive because he knows he's actually the target. Like, Snowball Wukong is the objective for Fnatic.
Right. But what do you reckon are the chances of Maxlore showing mid lane to get a push in, and then a cheeky little 4-man roam in the bot side.
Can definitely do it. I mean, kill the wards. Here's Mikyx and Maxlore together. It's the combination they always use, and what you just talked about. Get down these wards in. Now, suddenly, you can actually walk down the river.
And if you are Fnatic, this is...
You're gonna take it back.
Right, the alarm bells are ringing here. Let's protect our side of the jungle so that we don't fall victim to a play like that.
It's what the pro teams call tempo. It doesn't really make a lot of sense because it's not about playing fast or anything. It's actually like, hey, I now have the advantage, so I go in and kill your wards and look for a fight. Then it's the other team's turn when you leave the area.
Well, right now, Fnatic are trying to leave the area. Steel Tempest comes out
Caps!
just short. Caps doesn't pull the trigger on that Cyclone, but God, I wanted him to. Didn't look for the engage. Again, so nervous and tense.
Forest actually cancel his TP. sOAZ fully channeled his, so he's going to be on a long cooldown. He's going to lose the entire wave top. He's on his way back now, but nothing gained for Fnatic. Let's see, flash issues? Nope, all the Misfits actually just end up walking out.
That's a little bit tragic if you're going to dedicate your first teleport to that. But we're starting to see a little bit of Fnatic here going for slightly more aggressive... Oh!
Trade of ultimates. I held my breath there, Foxdrop. I wasn't sure if Broxah was going to come over the wall. Possibility still there, but needs the wind wall to die. Fantastic Steel Tempest. Sencux gets it out to save his life. Needs his flash to escape.
That was a quick one. He felt safe because of the wind wall, but Hylissang just walked through it, and then he hooked him over and knocked him behind it.
That's what I was gonna mention, that Fnatic start looking like they wanted to pull a trigger, and just as I was gonna say it, it happens.
First ulti from Caps, though. We're tracking this Wukong mid. Unsuccessful, was used defensively. He was under the turret, he got knocked up, he got ulted. And there was a TP coming, but ended up walking out of it. Rest of Misfits continue focusing around the bottom side and then invade that enemy jungle.
We've talked about the 1v1, kind of Sencux into Caps, the Yasuo into Wukong. But Wukong often gets Yumu's as that first lethality item so that you can, when you activate Beyblade mode, travel kind of further. And he's got tier 2 boots already. If that does turn into a Yumu's, what are the chances that it's not quite Wukong into Yasuo? Maybe he actually starts moving around a little bit more, and aim of the game wasn't to go to mid.
I mean, ideally that's what you want to do if you're Caps, because like your composition has a lot of pick potential. You have a Pyke right there, you have of course Wukong, where we've all played solo queue and we've seen the fed Wukong on the other side. He's never on your team, he's always on the other side. And he out of nowhere, like W in, and then he just one-shots you. That's effectively what he wants to do. Dustblade will be in this build as well, just for the extra amount of burst damage coming on his side, but he needs to be able to actually get the items fast enough so that Misfits can't just group as 5 a lot earlier.
If you were to put a timer on it, when will you start getting nervous? Because Fnatic just got a second uncontested dragon, Ocean and Mountain for the Rift Herald. So trade of objectives now, but as this game plays out, while the dragons may not be hugely impactful at this very moment, you know, they scale up, they make that Elder Dragon threat so much scarier. Wukong against towers is already difficult to deal with, and with mountains to back him up in that queue, just he can melt towers when he gets close to them. So I'm going to go back to that question. When do you start getting worried about Wukong in the late game, Deficio? Like, you know, is he somebody that falls off, or is it just silly as long as he can get to Hans Sama, it's fine?
As long as you get to Hans Sama, it is fine. Yeah. The problem is in team fights, once you get like Knight's Vow, you get Locket, these kind of defensive items that makes Hans Sama more tanky. And you're going to have the exhaust Braum next to him as well. While there is a lot of AoE damage from a Wukong with his ult, it gets a lot harder to assassinate the target. It's always possible if Caps plays it really well. So I don't feel like there's a giant timer on him. It just gets harder and harder and harder for him to actually snowball.
And that's why these kind of champions are so effective in solo queue, but we haven't seen them in like 2 years in professional play. Just not because they are ineffective, but because it's so difficult to find your windows to get those opportunities where you can punish the enemies by catching them out of position.
Well, Caps was looking for a potential play on Sencux. Mickey, Maxlore were in the area. I keep looking at the vision. Still Misfits favored towards the bottom half of the map. It is a 500 gold game between the two teams. CS is about even across the board. It's only Caps with the marginal lead, and the engage is going to be on Bwipo. Glacial Fisher comes out, but the prison misses too. So there's a little bit of a...
Look mid lane.
Comedy of errors. Hylissang's looking for the target. There goes the Cyclone into the dive. Sencux is ignited. Hilly's chasing him, using the dashes to go through, and Hylissang gets the kill. That's Fnatic evening it out.
In the end, they get it, and it's a mid lane turret going down. Sencux tried his best to stay alive. His team just invested everything bot lane, and they didn't even get a flash. from the Ryze. So this was a big play for Fnatic, exactly what they need to open up the map for Caps.
Not only did they not get something in that bot lane, they tried to sort of come mid to protect Caps or protect protect Sencux or that first tower, but they have the Rift Herald. If they'd actually decided to dedicate into the bot lane play even without the kill, maybe they get something out of that. But this is all started from the fact that this Wukong ulti completely negates Sencux's ability to get his ultimate off as well, which is actually a really good defensive tool because it gets your flow up, which is your shield.
And earlier in the game, we had all this chat about the control wards in the river, you know, who has the advantage now. It was actually Fnatic with the advantage. That's why Hylissang also could sneak his way into that mid lane unnoticed. I think Misfits were expecting him to be bot side because they were fighting there before. And he shows up mid. Hylissang is fine. He doesn't really care about the pillar. Decent start here for Fnatic. Just super important for them to get the first turret mid.
Yeah, first tower blood secured. They've also got the dragons. They've got a 1,000 gold lead. And it's so good. The match of the week at 20 minutes on the clock is delivering. We've got really, really controlled, deliberate plays from both sides. And nobody yet clearly in control. Hansama, by the way, pushed top lane, trying to push that wave back. It's still only that single tower down. And Deficio, this might be the longest laning phase I've seen all summer.
It's over now. It's gone. Caps needs to start moving around. Hansama definitely does not want to find him. I think Sencux is in trouble.
Well, that's a pretty Goomba stomp onto Sencux. Very well played. And you know what? That's the pick comp that you guys were talking about earlier.
This is the second time now where they've managed to not only pick up a kill on Sencux, but everyone just appears at the same time to then get a tower too. It happened with sOAZ on the first tower. Now it's happening for the second one, but the Rift Herald has been dropped. Not really to push the tower down, just probably because it was expiring. But it is something.
There's a problem for Misfits in this early game. They can't really control the mid lane anymore. They've lost both turrets there. Yeah, this guy in the bottom lane, he's going to stop the Rift Herald.
Yeah, exactly. So Rift Herald, somewhat of a waste in trade for that Ocean Drake.
Not somewhat, just a waste.
Okay, thank you. It is just a waste.
Yeah.
I was trying to be polite or nice. Just a quick heads up, by the way, if you are interested in watching Hylissang's POV, it is running on twitch.tv/RiotGames2. You're busy taking a look at Hylissang's point of view. He, of course, crucial in setting up that first kill for Caps. Caps has then been the center of focus for the last few minutes, and he's built himself up a 50 CS advantage. Got that Ghost Blade completed, BF Sword Pickaxe, and the Tiamat. So he is a pretty scary monkey that has allowed Fnatic to build up this 2.5 grand gold leads.
He is, yeah, exactly like you say, pretty blooming scary right now. And if the aim of the game was let's snowball Caps, which I mean it should have been if you picked the Wukong, Fnatic have absolutely been able to do that.
Oh, opportunistic play. Okay, judge my word usage, Deficio. Opportunistic or desperate? Where on the scale?
Not desperate yet, but a bit of a tilter from Mikyx. Really hoping Hylissang just walks straight into him. Caspar has not even left mid yet. He just keeps pushing it. But this is kind of the thing for Misfits now. In order to stop falling further behind, those kind of plays when you're committing 3 to 4 players kind of needs to give you something. And it's not doing that right now.
All right, Caps is trying to find Maxlore. Manages to use the Ghost Blade just to chase him down. Maxlore throws down the Subjugate, but I think Ignite might just be enough. Death from below from Hylissang. Last breath comes out. Caps takes a lot of damage. Teleports coming in. It's a fight on multiple fronts. We jump up to see Hansama flashing for his life. Manages to get the culling into sOAZ, but it simply doesn't do enough. Mikyx's down. Hansama's down. Caps is inside the base. He's looking for Sencux, but may be in a little bit of trouble. Continues to get chased down. No flash available. Couple of tower shots may be enough to take him down, but the Burning Agony will be enough to take out the last tick. The stopwatch used just to buy some time for Alphari and Fnatic. They fancy themselves a shot, but they don't follow further.
Oh, Fnatic, they just keep getting more kills here. Yeah, Misfits gets a little bit in the end, but killing Caps at this point didn't really do much for them. He's not the one getting all the kills on the side of Fnatic. They're still down 4k gold. They lost all those turrets, and they've got nothing. This must be the first game Misfits have played all split long where they're not getting any turrets in the early game.
And Fnatic, if they get ahead early, they can absolutely take over a game. And you mentioned that as one of their win conditions for this game specifically. Before I finish my point, let's see how this all unraveled here. Getting a little bit greedy for the blue buff. As a jungler, I can definitely empathize. I ain't losing that blue, even if it costs my teams 4 kills. Fight on multiple fronts, as you said, Trevor. And as this is happening all up here, people are dying down below as well. And it's just Honestly, Misfits are a little far behind here.
Right.
They take a fight like this, a little bit split, and also the whole kind of team comp argument as well favors Fnatic in this situation.
They were not ready for this. Misfits, ideally, mainly because this Yasuo is so far behind. Man, they need more time, but they're not getting it because Fnatic, they just continue playing aggressive, and there's so many ways for them to start the fights. Gragas, Wukong, like Pyke, that.
Ooh.
So many champions to just engage.
And not going to find the flash this time around, or the engage this time around. Mikyx was able to jump over to Hansama. And Fnatic, they've got themselves a 4K lead, and just like that, it feels like in a couple of moments, they pull ahead. Now, Bwipo may need to use this tower to his advantage, getting run down by Alphari. He's using that sadism just to tick away, and Alphari's still not done, looking to chase further, and Bwipo, very good usage of that realm warp. He escapes with his life.
sOAZ is on his way, but it's a double magic damage setup against Mundo, so it's not going to be easy to kill him.
Manages to cut off the escape, trying to force the flash at very least. All right, Alphari, no ultimate, and I think that's exactly what Fnatic were hoping for.
It's something, but it's only something for right now, I think, Trevor. And the second item being completed from Caps here, you said he's going for the one-shot build. How about a Storm Razor? Something that literally gives your first hit a huge amount of thwunk.
It's just so much burst, upfront burst, EQ, ulti, like, man, you're just dead. Like, unless you are a tank, and there's only right now 2 tanks in the front for Misfits. I even think the Braum is too squishy to survive that full combo.
But even if you are a tank and you can survive, I mean, you're not really someone that Caps cares about anyway. He's not really looking at you.
He's probably not going to use it on you.
Right, he's looking at the other people, and thus far, if you are the other people, Hansama or Sencux, you're in trouble.
It is important to highlight, though, it's not Caps doing this on his own.
Right.
It's him we talk about because he's on the Wukong. That's the exciting part, but it's Hylissang roaming mid, it's Broxah being mid lane. sOAZ even went mid twice.
Yep.
When he actually talked about Gragas being back in the meta, he was like, this is great. I can start roaming mid again. You know, I can make plays around it. And he's been doing it multiple times already.
And exactly that's what's helping Fnatic out here. Sencux is looking for an opportunity. Not going to throw out that Q just yet. And quickly before this next engage, Broxah's going to dash away with that Glacial Assault. No follow-up. I keep holding my breath. Bwipo's pooping top. Misfits, by the way, are behind. And this might be the first time all year long that they're going to be losing to Fnatic. They are 3-0 up against Fnatic. And they are 9-0 up in the summer split. Fnatic are poised to end those records. But Misfits, they're not stopping yet. Once again, a optimistic Glacial Fissure. And not finding his target, Deficio.
I mean, if you don't try, you're never going to hit anything. But Mikyx has been very eager with some long-range ultis, not properly connecting. Notice the item build on Sencux.
Yeah, second item GA. Something tells me that this guy is a little bit fed up of dying, or the threat of dying, which is ironic because you think of Yasuo as someone who dies all the time.
Hey, this is a My Team Yasuo. What do you think of the GA? I want you to answer that in a moment or two. For now, Fnatic, Double Oceans and Mountain, they're on the Baron, and they've got themselves some very good vision control. Yeah. It doesn't look like Misfits can arrive in time. Maxlore doesn't have flash available either. sOAZ zones him away. Fnatic sneak Baron for nearly no cost.
Yeah, Misfits are just not ready to react on the map. They're not used to being in this situation where they're falling this far down early on. Fnatic in full control, and about that GA second, it looked very, very badass when he first picked the Yasuo. He was like, no, I'm going to take this against Caps.
It's a statement.
No problem. When he didn't build GA second,
yeah,
it feels that's cool.
It feels like if you're going for it, you got to go for it, you know. And this is sort of where it's dipped his pinky toe in the bath, realized it's too hot, and he's backing out.
Yeah, because in his situation, he's like, okay, I'm gonna get one shot. I'm behind. I need some way to do anything in a fight, and obviously, the entire combo from Fnatic is so much about the initial engage, and if you get past that with the GA, you might be able to do something, but it's not something that's going to win him the game now. And that's the problem. It's kind of, I'm trying to lose less by building GA second.
And of course, that's Yasuo was first pick, by the way. Very first pick for Misfits. And it's simply not paying off. The fan vote right now, obviously from spamming chat, is heavily in favor of Fnatic, but I have to call the fans out. They agreed with Deficio. The Misfits were going to win this game. For the first time, the fan vote went against Fnatic, and Fnatic are stepping up to shut down all the haters. 6K gold up. Don't say I voted for them, because I did. And, and Fnatic are just poised to finish this game out.
I said in Reddit check, it scared me a lot that both me and the fans were like on the Misfits thing. That's why you smell That little upset from Fnatic.
What you should really be afraid is if I have the same prediction as you.
Didn't you also predict Misfits?
Well, I did.
Oh, it's all gone wrong.
I think you should be pointing more towards me than the fans. But what's interesting about the way this game has gone so far, and Deficio pointed at it as well, is Misfits are not used to being this far behind at this point in the game. But not only that, they're playing versus this.
Oh, look at that damage! Caps destroys Hansama where he stands. Mikyx the next target. Realm War brings Bwipo to the back end, and Maxlore's now being chased. Alphari's come to the party. He was finally invited, but it's simply too little. It's simply too late. Deficio, I asked you 20 minutes ago about it, and he is the last man standing. Alphari's Mundo means nothing to Fnatic.
It's turned into a stomp now. Fnatic are just running over Misfits. They will get this top lane turret down. Let's see the death timers. 10 seconds on Hansama. He will be back to try and defend, but these Nexus turrets, they're squishy.
They really are. Take a look at Caps on this queue, by the way, chunking down Nexus turret number 1. Turns his attention to the second, while Hylissang's trying to interrupt. The Nexus tower is down. Mikyx and Hamsan are doing what little they can. The Nexus turret is being dropped down. Fnatic defeat the undefeatable Misfits.
They didn't just defeat them, they destroyed the undefeated Misfits. The Wukong in the mid lane was a smart pick here, but the fact that Fnatic played around Caps so well, that's what set it all up. It was the roams from Hylissang, it was the ganks from Broxah.
And it seems like it just took Misfits way by surprise that entire game. Not only was Fnatic so strong in the early game, but the way they transitioned their early lead into a victory here, Misfits haven't really been troubled that much yet, and I think we saw that in this game.
And it's not even like Misfits could complain about the early game if we consider the fact they got 2 kills bot lane, they got the Rift Held traded for an Ocean Drake, but that Rift Held was used to for absolutely nothing. And the mid lane, Sencux was playing passive for as long as possible, but I guess if you keep ganking that lane, eventually you're gonna get the kill.
Deficio, you could see the fear in Misfits' eyes when it came to decision making. Some of those ultimates, some of those engages. It was not the same confident, proactive Misfits that went 9-0, and maybe the weight of the lead, the weight of the game, maybe it got to them. It's something we're definitely going to have to talk to Misfits about. And look, they're still 9-1 in the split. They're still the #1 squad in the standings.
Of course.
But for Fnatic, what a phenomenal performance.
And they get to deny the potential 18-0. Important for them, make sure it's only Fnatic who's achieved that so far.
What a game from Fnatic here, and I think with Misfits, the way they played and the way they reacted, you talked about kind of the Braum ultimates and that sliding scale of opportunistic to desperate.
Exactly.
As the game went on, I think we can see which way.
Well, look, in terms of scales, I'm going to blow the scale wide open. You got a replay brought to you by Ace of Predator of that last engage by Fnatic. Now, this is a little bit unfair, but that's exactly what the Wukong has picked to do, obliterate Hansama.
Yeah, there's just no way of protecting Hansama at this point here. You don't have the defensive items you need to keep him alive. The Wukong has gotten all the items he needs. Storm Razor crit and everything.
And that second item, GA, does save Sencux's life, but only for about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly a bit surprised. I don't think anyone was expecting this, probably least of all the Misfits squad, that not only were Fnatic beating them, but in the style that they were beating them. And then when Misfits thinking, wait, are we going to lose this game? They lost.
I was just really happy to see such a calm, collected, controlled Fnatic, because I wasn't expecting that.
Sure.
Listen, we have some player of the game candidates. You know the deal. Head to Twitter at LOL Esports. Only you can vote. sOAZ, Hylissang, and Caps.
I would like the Broxah as well, but fine.
Why even make a vote? We know who's going to win this one. I mean, come on, right? Right?
He picked the Wukong, but I think this was a team effort to get the Wukong ahead.
So put the Fnatic logo there and vote for Fnatic for player of the game and really help our record keepers and stats team. Fnatic secured a big win in our match of the week. Empire is standing by with Wukong. Sorry, Caps.
Thanks very much, Trevor. It is, in fact, Fnatic's monkey in the middle. So, Caps, before I get into that one, I want to ask you, how good does it feel to knock down Misfits, stop the win streak, and keep the 18-0 perfect split for 2015 Fnatic?
It feels so good. I think we were hoping for our 18-0 split, this split, and it didn't happen for us. So it should definitely not happen for Misfits or any other EU team. So we're happy.
Well, and you've got quite a lot of surprises, it seems, in the pocket. Tell me a little bit more about this Wukong pick, why it was so good.
So last year in summer, I one-shot Hansama with the Kane mid. And this I was trying to keep it a bit fresh. So we were trying out some Wukong mid, and we got it. So we're happy.
All right, easy peasy. Well, that's all I got for you. Congratulations on your win, man. Happy to see it.
Thank you.
All right, back over to Dracos and the dudes for some post-game analysis.
Dragos and the dudes. All right. Well, fantastic win comes in from Fnatic. We heard from Hussein Moosby yesterday. The one thing I'm scared of is the weird things they're going to bring out. And boy, did they bring out some weird things. We can take a look at picks and bans. I think we were all pretty surprised on the desk when we were going through this. And we saw, I am going to quote you when I say this, alpha move from Sencux. Lock it in the Yasuo first picking. How do we feel about it now that we see the game played out?
I mean, things that are against Fnatic, I will never do that. I will do it against any other team, for example, picking like a comfort champion, but picking Yasuo blind against a guy that plays like anything, it's kind of... I mean, I wanted that it's risky, but I mean, it was obviously risky this game, and it didn't pay off for them, so...
You probably didn't see the Wukong coming since they haven't been screaming each other since they're playing each other. So yeah, they just... Not cheesed, but... I mean, they just didn't know about the Wukong, I guess.
Yeah, and I can't blame him. I mean,
Caught us all a little bit by surprise.
It's not like, oh, he also plays Vladimir, a champion in the meta. It's like, oh, he plays Wukong, a champion we haven't seen in 3 years in competitive play. That's just a random number. It's probably never maybe been played in competitive play.
It's been played a few times, I think they were saying, but
it's got to be
very, very small sample
very little.
size.
But the preparation for Fnatic didn't stop there. They had that brilliant level 1 on First Blood. It did feel like it just kind of started things rolling right off the bat in their favor. We take a look at it now, and I mean, Fnatic came prepared for this matchup. This level 1 just so beautiful.
I mean, they've obviously done their homework. They know that probably Alphari goes to that bush so many different times. They have the champions to be able to set it up, and just brilliant execution all around.
Is this kind of the things that you guys see a lot in scrims, is teams practicing these unique level 1s to bring out against specific opponents on stage?
Yeah, I would say Fnatic in particular has always been known for their interesting level 1 strats. They try a lot of different stuff always, and they're usually like pretty innovative in terms of level 1, so it's a Fnatic special, yeah.
For sure, it works out for them. And of course, I think the other thing about this that we saw in the early game was that despite that going well for them, it didn't look super great for Fnatic for a long time. It was a really, really slow game, back and forth. No one was really doing much of anything. We were sitting here on the desk, Nisky, you were telling me level 6 is what's going to happen. Well, it took a little while, but it finally did happen. We finally saw the back-to-back kills coming in for mid lane, setting up Caps to take off on this Wukong, and kind of as predicted from you, Nisky, that this was going to happen. How do you feel about this style of play from Fnatic?
I think that they've Wukong into Yasuo, so basically if you go mid with any champion, it could be like Sejuani or even Gragas that could like help Caps to like, I would say, 1v1 Sencux. But here you see that they're just camping Sencux, and it's not like he can do much about it, and even though their teammates could be behind Sencux, he would still die anyway, so that's why I think Fnatic kind of knew what they were going against, and they knew that Misfits would pick Yasuo, and they just prepared the Wukong.
I mean, it was just a battle of who snowballs the hardest. Like, for Misfits, they have the Lucian Braum in the bot lane, and they got one good gank off, and Hansama got a double kill, and if they had managed to snowball that lead harder, then I think they would have a chance, but Fnatic, they just kept running it down mid with the Wukong 4-man mid, and yeah.
Yeah, apart from that one gank in the bottom lane, it just felt super slow from Misfits. Like, the game plan was have Sencux sit underneath his turret, build a GA as a second item, and then hope that the rest of his team could win, but there was really just that one play that worked out for Misfits.
Yeah, and I'm curious, do we think that the bot lane could have extended that lead more? Was this them kind of playing more passive or scared, or did they just really not have an opportunity here to come back to the game?
I mean, I'm not sure. The thing is, they didn't get any towers on the bot side, or when they swapped the dual lane into top lane, they didn't get the tower either. So it's hard to kind of snowball more when you only get kills. And at that point, it was too late, because when tier 2 fell mid for Misfits and Caps got the second kill on Sencux, then the game was kind of over from there, almost.
Yeah, I mean, it generally feels to me, from what I've experienced with Wukong, when he's fed, you can't play any squishy champion against him. And you can see it here. This is the point, Nisky, you told me it was going to happen at level 6. We didn't see it till level 16 that he started one-shotting people. It took a Storm Razor. But my God, this champion, once it has a couple items under its belt, is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, you just misheard him. Level 6, level 16. It's basically the same thing over here. But yeah, I was still not a full believer in the Wukong during this game. I'm like, yeah, he did some damage, but the rest of his team came and helped him out. And then I saw that one fight. I was like, okay, now I see what's going on here.
Yeah. For Fnatic overall now, denying the win streak for Misfits, it feels like a pretty big deal for them. But how much does this actually mean for Misfits right now? They were kind of the undisputed top team. They've now lost a single game to Fnatic. Do you think in general that this team has a lot of weaknesses, or is it just Fnatic that are particularly well equipped to kind of shut them down?
I mean, I think Misfits still play like really good this game. It's just that, as I said, like when you play against a champion that you never played before, you can't really like plan around it. And I mean, I knew that, for example, after level 6, they couldn't play around mid anymore. So Yasuo couldn't ever move, you know? That was, I think, the issue this game is that Misfits were playing around bot lane, but Fnatic were just hardcore camping mid. And then Yasuo couldn't just move at all. And then there was no play to make, so...
I mean, it makes sense. So let me ask this. If this is kind of very pick reliant and very reliant on them not being prepared for the Wukong, do you think this changes if it's a best of 5? Do you think Misfits will look much better if, let's say, this is a playoffs matchup because they will have more games to adapt to something like Wukong? Or is Caps really just play so many champions that he's always going to have something special?
I think in a best of 5, Misfits are probably better, I think. Because I don't think you can have like... I mean, he can probably have like 5 different picks, you know, but at the end you can kind of analyze what the enemy wants to do and stuff like that in a best of 5. So I think in a best of 1 it's good to have like kind of cheesy picks, but in best of 5s it doesn't really work as well.
So for you, Kabe, do you think that Misfits right now, if we were to go straight to playoffs and go into best of 5s, do you think that they look like the strongest team in Europe, despite the loss today?
As of now, yeah. Like if I was Misfits, I wouldn't take this loss like too heavy. Since like I don't know what's going on there. From my point, it just looks like they got kind of blindsided by the Wukong. But it's not like they've shown any major weaknesses in that game, so I think they'll just learn from it and move on, and they're still good to go with a 9-1 score. So.
Yeah, to me, I mean, like, Misfits seems like a team that can very easily bounce back. You don't get 9 wins in a row and then lose one game and hard tilt after that. Misfits seem like they have pretty good heads on their shoulders.
Vitality went 7-1 and then went on like a horrible losing streak for a really long time.
Vitality and Misfits are very different teams, Dracos.
All right, sure, man. I'm just saying it's happened. You're speaking in absolutes here. You're leaving yourself open to poking some holes. Of course, player of the game is something we always have to talk about. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. Caps coming through 1-1-7, not the normal player of the game scoreline you expect, but it turns out if you pick Wukong, people are pretty inclined to vote for you. Also, solid game from him. Did feel like more of a team effort from Fnatic though than any one player kind of.
Yeah, where's the love from Hylissang? He did so much work on that Pyke, helping him out in the mid lane, but I mean, Caps made that Wukong look pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was just smurfing, so.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle. I think Caps, we saw yesterday, it's starting to look like Caps is a one-man show here in the mid lane. Niski, would you have the confidence to go up Yasuo versus Wukong against Caps?
Probably not. I mean, I would probably likely the Wukong side more, you know, but not. I won't blind pick. Yasuo.
So are we going to see more Wukong coming through from people other than Caps?
I mean, for example, yesterday you saw Caps playing Irelia, and then today you saw in 2 games, I think, that people actually like replayed Irelia, you know, because it wasn't really played before. And then people might just play Wukong into Yasuo now because Caps just showed that it's...
I'm ready to see it, man. Caps is the trendsetter. Well, coming up next, Roccat are fighting to secure a playoff spot, but their nightmare weeks continue as they face off against top team G2 eSports. Find out if they can pull off the upset when we return.